Today we're going to talk about multi-step equations. You've gotten a lot of practice on distribution, combining like terms, and moving variables to different sides. So now let's put this all in one. So for the example to the right, the first thing that I need to do is draw my line. Now I need to get rid of my parentheses. Remember, I get rid of my parentheses by distributing. You want to take the number on the outside and multiply it times each value on the inside. So 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times 7 is 14. So it'd be 8x plus 14. Now let's bring everything else down. So plus 4 equals 32 plus x. Now you need to look at your left side and your right side and figure out if there's any terms that you can combine. So on my left side, I can combine 14 plus 4 to get a positive 18. So I'm going to bring everything else down. Now we can move terms around so you have variables on one side of the equal sign and constants on the other. So this is a positive or a plus 1x. So I'm going to use the inverse operation. Subtract 1x on each side. So now I'm going to get a 7x plus 18 equals 32. So now I can subtract my 18 because that is the inverse operation from plus 18 to get 7x equals, and 32 minus 18 is 14. So now divide each side by 7 to get x equals 2. Circle your final answer. So you notice how my work is not everywhere. It is one line at a time, and it shows every step. Don't forget, let's add a step 3 over here. And let's say check answer or check step. Okay, that is important, and your teacher will require this of you. So now let's look at questions 1 through 4. It says state the first step to solve the variable. So the first step in problem 1, this says 16x plus 43 minus 13x equals 24. So in this case, the first thing that you need to do, since there's no distribution, is combine like terms. So on the left side of my equal sign, I have two terms with a value of x, so that's what you're going to do first. In problem 3, the first thing that you need to do is to distribute your negative 6 so we can remove our parentheses. Pause the video, try 2 and 4. On problem 2, there's no parentheses, there's no combining like terms, so now you're at the step where you're moving your variables from all to one side. And in problem 4, you have parentheses, so you need to distribute first. Let's do a few more examples. So we'll look at 5 and 7 together. So on problem 5, you notice that you have parentheses. So you want to distribute negative 2 to each term within your parentheses. So negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 2 times 4d is going to be negative 8d. Bring down your remaining terms. Now remember, if you have a negative 8d, that's the same thing as minus 8d. So now I'm going to draw my line. So you want to look and see if there's any terms that you can combine. Don't forget to include your sign that's in front of it. So you want to say 7d minus 8d is negative 1d. I'm not going to place the 1 in front of this d. You have to be able to assume or know that it's there. So now I can move my constants. So it's a minus 6. So I'm going to plus 6 on each side. Get negative d equals 25. And you want to divide each side by a negative 1 for a final answer of d equals negative 25. I am out of room on my square. However, you need to remember to do your check step on these problems. It will be required of your teacher. You will not get full credit if you do not do the check step. On number 7, this says negative 15 minus 2y plus 7 equals 14. You need parentheses, so you're going to have to distribute. Remember, this is the same thing as a negative 1 on the outside of your parentheses. So I'm going to say negative 1 times 2y is negative 2y. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7 equals 14. Draw your line and see if there's any terms that we can combine. There is 15 minus 7 which is negative 2y plus 8 equals 14. Move your constants to one side. So I'm going to subtract 8 on both sides to get negative 2y equals 6. Now you're going to divide each side by a negative 2. So your final answer will be y equals negative 3. Don't forget to do your check step. Remember, write down the original problem and then substitute in negative 3 for all of your y's. Pause the video and try 6 and 8. Check your answers. If you have any questions, ask your teacher.